When it comes to flaunting wealth, the ultra-rich are always on the hunt for the next big flex. Sure, luxury cars and watches are cool, but they're kind of old news in the billionaire world.
Wealth now doesn't mean 40, 50, 60 million.
The real power move? Owning a rare and exotic animal. From a dead dog brought back to life through advanced cloning that cost the owners over $100,000, to Mike Tyson's Bengal tigers that cost him over $300,000, these are the kinds of pets only billionaires can afford. We're counting down 16 of the most jaw-dropping examples. Number 16, stag beetle.
Got it! And I'm about to enter the pinch zone with the stag beetle.
Now, when you think of pets, a beetle probably isn't at the top of your list. But back in 1999, a Japanese beetle enthusiast dropped a jaw-dropping $90,000 on one of these critters. Yep, $90,000. For an insect. And to make things even crazier, these little guys only live for a few months.
Japanese beetle as effectively as we can as soon as we see a population.
Japanese beetle feeds on over 300 species of plants.
The live beetle was bought by a certain company president and insect fancier whose identity was not revealed. So what makes the stag beetle so special? This beetle is part of the Lucanidae family, which boasts over 1,200 species of beetles. But the stag beetle stands out, partly because of its size. It's one of the longest insects, ranging between 2 and 3 inches, and partly because of its dramatic antler-like mandibles. Male stag beetles in particular are the showstoppers. Their oversized mandibles look like deer antlers, hence the name, and are used in their equivalent of a wrestling match, usually to impress the ladies or establish dominance over rival males. These mandibles aren't just for looks, they're bright red, giving them an almost blood-like hue that adds to their mystique. And then there's their color. The stag beetle's shiny black head and thorax contrast beautifully with its chestnut-brown wing cases. Honestly, they're like tiny works of art, designed by nature to be both functional and stunning. Like earlier stated, stag beetles don't live long. Their entire adult lives are packed into just a few short months. During this time, they sip on fruit juice, tree sap, and water, using their unique furry orange tongues to slurp it all up. Before they become these striking adults, stag beetles start their lives as larvae, feasting on rotting wood. While munching away, they create intricate tunnels and chambers, which, if you ask me, is pretty impressive for an insect. But this dependence on decaying wood is one of the reasons they're now so rare. Their habitats, mainly old woodlands and gardens with rotting wood, are disappearing due to urbanization and human activity. People often clear away dead wood, not realizing it's a lifeline for these beetles. Because they're so scarce, stag beetles are virtually impossible to buy legally. That's part of what makes them so expensive. Breeding them in captivity is a challenge, and their rarity in the wild only adds to their value. Speaking about scarce, which of these animals do you think is the most endangered? Is it Sumatran orangutan, Javan rhinoceros, vaquita, Amur leopard? If your answer was Javan rhinoceros, you could have won $100 by simply choosing the right answer while playing Wonder Trivia. It's free to play and available on the iOS and Google Play Store. If bugs aren't your cup of tea and you prefer reptiles, then the stunning lavender albino ball python might tickle your fancy. Number 15. Lavender albino ball python. This little showstopper is like something out of a fantasy. It has a dreamy lavender-colored body, golden swirls that look like they were painted on by an artist, and very enchanting red eyes. It's the kind of beauty that doesn't just catch your eye, it leaves you staring. This python is incredibly rare, and that rarity cranks its value way up. Its gorgeous coloring comes from a recessive genetic mutation, a super tricky one to breed. That's why it's on every reptile enthusiast's bucket list. Also, this snake isn't just a diva in the looks department, it's got a calm and chill personality too. People love them for being docile and easy to handle, which is a big plus if you're into reptiles. However, owning one of these beauties isn't exactly a walk in the park. They need the perfect setup: humidity, temperature, lighting, you name it. And their diet. Let's just say it's not your typical pet store snack aisle. All that care adds up, making them more of a luxury than a casual pet. Now, many people just can't stand snakes, but felines are more their speed, so let's take a look at a cat that will set you back $50,000. Number 14. Savannah Cat. A Savannah cat looks like a mini cheetah, acts like a playful pup, and costs as much as a luxury car. The Savannah cat is what happens when the elegance of a domestic cat meets the wild charm of an African serval. This hybrid mix gives them a look straight out of a wildlife documentary. They're tall, slim, and super graceful, with large satellite-like ears and those bold spotted coats that scream jungle royalty. Honestly, they could easily be mistaken for a small cheetah prowling your living room. But don't let the fancy exterior fool you. These cats have a personality to match their stunning looks. They're ridiculously playful, endlessly curious, and freakishly smart. People often say they're more like dogs than cats. Why? Well, they can be leash-trained, love playing fetch, and will even follow you around the house like your shadow. However, like you'd have guessed, owning a Savannah cat is no small feat. These cats have energy levels that could rival a toddler on a sugar rush. They need space, lots of it. Think climbing trees, running laps, and exploring every nook and cranny. A tiny apartment won't cut it. They need room to roam and toys to keep their sharp minds busy. Boredom is their arch nemesis, so be ready to invest in puzzles, activities, and maybe even a custom cat jungle gym. Now, why is this cat so expensive? Well, breeding a Savannah cat is no walk in the park. It's an art that takes years of expertise. Since African servals and domestic cats aren't exactly natural soulmates, getting the perfect mix involves generations of careful breeding. Add to that the challenge of balancing wild instincts with domestic traits, and you've got a process that's as complex as it is fascinating. That's where the price comes from. It's a masterpiece in the world of pets. In 2019, Justin Bieber spent $35,000 on 2 Savannah cats named Sushi and Tuna. Animal rights group PETA had an issue with this.
It's like a super cat.
And said the pop star is fueling the dangerous demand for hybrid cats. Justin replied in an Instagram post and basically told PETA off. He asked them to concentrate on tackling issues like poaching and animal brutality. He added, "Go focus on real problems. You are tripping because I want a specific kind of cat. You weren't tripping when I got my dog Oscar and he wasn't a rescue. Every pet we get must be a rescue." Number 13. Toucans. Toucans are not just beautiful birds, they're also incredibly expensive, and the cost goes way beyond just buying one. If you're eyeing a Toco toucan baby like Paco, Paz, or Pepe, you're looking at an initial investment of around $10,000. But that's only the beginning. These birds are foodies. They need a constant supply of fresh fruit, and no, you can't cut corners with canned or frozen options. Toucans have a taste for the finer things, like papaya, mango, and fresh berries. Basically, the VIP section of the produce aisle. On top of that, they require low-iron pellets especially formulated for their diet. These aren't something you can pick up at your local pet store. You'll probably have to order them online and have them shipped in. And then there are the toys. Toucans are smart, like really smart, and they get bored fast. You'll need a steady supply of toys for mental stimulation, and this isn't optional. But here's the kicker. They'll either destroy the toys or lose interest in them within weeks. So, you're constantly replenishing their stash. Sure, you could try DIYing some toys to save cash, but let's be real. Thinking you can make toucans budget-friendly is pure wishful thinking. Now let's talk space. Whether your toucan lives indoors or outside, it's going to need a much larger enclosure than a parrot of a similar size. These birds are high energy and spend their days hopping around like little feathered acrobats. They need plenty of perches and room to burn off that energy. And if you plan on letting your toucan roam your home, be ready for a whirlwind. Unlike parrots, who can sit on a perch or work on a toy for hours, toucans are always on the move. They won't sit still for more than 10 minutes, and they'll want to explore every inch of your house. Think of them less as a pet, and more like a hyperactive roommate with a taste for exotic snacks. Speaking of the toucan, what is the primary function of a toucan's large, colorful beak? Is it to regulate body temperature? To attract mates? To defend against predators? To crack open nuts? If your answer was to attract mates, you could have won $100 by simply choosing the right answer while playing Wonder Trivia. It's free to play and available on the iOS and Google Play Store. While little cute birds have a lot of appeal, some people would rather buy something big, like a horse. But not all horses are the same. Number 12. Arabian horse. Arabian horses are known to be the models of the Equidae family. With an eye-popping price tag of around $100,000, these horses aren't just animals. They're walking, trotting, and galloping pieces of history. These horses are one of the oldest and most prestigious horse breeds on the planet, and it has earned its spot in the limelight thanks to its jaw-dropping beauty, incredible athleticism, and a lineage that goes back thousands of years. The Arabian horse has a head so finely chiseled, it looks like it came out of an artist's sketchbook, an elegantly arched neck, and a tail that naturally stands high like a banner in the wind. Their striking appearance isn't just for show. It's a result of centuries of careful breeding by desert tribes who prized them not only for their looks, but also for their practicality. Now, these horses are far from being all beauty and no brains, or brawn. Arabians are renowned for their stamina, speed, and endurance. This makes them superstars in endurance riding, a sport where horses and their riders cover mind-boggling distances, sometimes over 100 miles, in a single day. They're also impressive in show jumping, dressage, and other equestrian sports. Basically, if there's a horse sport, the Arabian can probably ace it. Now let's dig into their backstory, because it's nothing short of fascinating. Arabian horses have been around for thousands of years, with their roots tracing back to the deserts of the Middle East. Bedouin tribes bred them with such care that their bloodlines remain some of the purest in the world. These horses were treated like family, sometimes even living in the same tents as their owners, to protect them from the harsh desert elements. This deep connection has left a lasting legacy, making the Arabian horse a symbol of loyalty and resilience. Now, if you thought the stag beetle was wild, wait until you hear about white lion cubs. Number 11. White lion cubs. These magnificent creatures come with a jaw-dropping price tag of $140,000 each. But there's more to them than just the price. White lion cubs are as rare as they are mesmerizing, making them the ultimate status symbol for the ultra-wealthy. White lions are nature's masterpiece, with a genetic mutation that gives their coat a stunning white hue. This isn't your everyday albino trait either. It's called leucism, a condition where pigmentation is reduced but not completely absent. This means their white fur can have subtle golden tones, and their eyes are an absolute showstopper, coming in shades of mesmerizing blue or striking gold. Finding a white lion in the wild is almost impossible. They originate from South Africa, primarily the Timbavati region, but their population in the wild is incredibly low due to habitat loss and human interference. Even in captivity, white lions are rare. Breeding them is a delicate process that requires both parents to carry the recessive gene responsible for their white coat. Without this genetic lottery, their cubs are born with the typical tawny fur of regular lions. Because of this, breeders need specialized knowledge and meticulous care to ensure successful litters. The rarity of their white coat, combined with the complexity of breeding, makes them some of the most expensive animals on Earth. Now let's say you've got $140,000 to spare and managed to snag a white lion cub. What's next? Owning one isn't as simple as putting it in your backyard and calling it a day. First off, these cubs require constant attention. Their diet needs to be carefully planned to include high-quality meat and essential nutrients to support their rapid growth. But here's the kicker: they don't stay cubs forever. White lions grow into massive, powerful predators that can weigh over 400 pounds. They need plenty of space to roam, which means you're looking at a sizable, secure enclosure. Not exactly something you can set up in your average suburban neighborhood. And let's not forget the legal side of things. In many countries, owning a lion, white or otherwise, is either outright illegal or requires extensive permits and inspections. Even in places where it's allowed, you'll need a team of professionals to help with training, handling, and ensuring the lion's well-being. Speaking of permits, in which of these countries is it legal to own a lion? Is it UAE, Germany, Brazil, UK? If your answer was Germany, you could have won $100 by simply choosing the right answer while playing Wonder Trivia. It's free to play and available on the iOS and Google Play Store. Now, not everyone can buy a lion, but almost everyone can buy a dog. And a particular couple paid $155,000 for not just any dog, but a clone of their dog who passed away. Number 10. Sir Lancelot Encore, the cloned Labrador. Edgar and Nina Otto, a Florida couple, loved their yellow Labrador, Sir Lancelot, so much that they couldn't bear to say goodbye forever. So when he passed away from cancer in 2008, they did something truly extraordinary. They spent a staggering $155,000 to clone him. Sir Lancelot, the Otto's beloved Labrador, had been with the family for 11 years when he was diagnosed with cancer. His passing left a huge void, but this wasn't a loss the Ottos were willing to accept as final. They had actually been preparing for this moment years in advance. When they first heard about emerging cloning technology in 2004, they decided to preserve Lancelot's DNA just in case the unimaginable happened. And when it did, they took the leap. The Ottos turned to BioArts, a San Francisco-based company, and the Suum Biotech Research Foundation in South Korea, the pioneers in animal cloning. Using Sir Lancelot's stored DNA, scientists in South Korea performed the cloning procedure. This involved injecting the preserved DNA into the egg of a surrogate dog. The result, Lancelot Encore, affectionately nicknamed Lancey, who became the first ever cloned dog, born in 2009. This wasn't just science, it was history in the making. When Lancey arrived, it wasn't just his uncanny resemblance to Sir Lancelot that amazed the Ottos. The new pup had inherited many of Lancelot's quirks, like the way he crossed his paws, an endearing trait that instantly reminded the family of their late dog. What's even more remarkable, Lancey seamlessly blended into the household where the Ottos already had 9 other dogs. It was as if the pack instantly recognized him as one of their own. For Edgar and Nina, it felt like a small piece of the past had been restored. Of course, not everyone is on board with pet cloning. Animal welfare groups have criticized the practice, calling it wasteful when so many homeless pets need homes. Critics argue that cloning is less about preserving a pet's essence and more about creating a physical copy, which may not necessarily replicate the unique bond shared with the original animal. But for the Ottos, the expense and the ethical debates didn't matter. Edgar, whose father co-founded NASCAR, had the means to afford the hefty price tag. And for them, Lancey was more than just a clone. He was a living reminder of their cherished memories with Sir Lancelot. Paying an insane amount of money to revive your dog is understandable, but what about paying over $300,000 for a sheep? Number 9. Deveronvale Perfection. Back in 2009, this Texel lamb made headlines when it sold for a jaw-dropping $355,000. That's enough to buy a house. So why did this particular sheep fetch such an insane price? Well, it's all about genetics and potential. Texels are already a big deal in the sheep world, thanks to their top-notch wool and meat quality. But Deveronvale Perfection wasn't just any Texel. This lamb had the kind of strong physical traits and genetic pedigree that could elevate an entire flock's quality. Serious breeders saw it as an investment that would pay off in future generations of super sheep. For context, the UK's previous most expensive sheep, Top Hill Joe, was bought for £128,000. He died 6 years later, but not before fathering lambs worth more than £1 million. The seller of Deveronvale Perfection, Mr. Morrison, couldn't believe his luck, saying the price was beyond his wildest dreams. But hey, he wasn't just hyping it up. He genuinely believed the sheep lived up to its name, calling it perfection. The buyer, Mr. Douglas, agreed, describing the lamb as one of the best he'd ever seen, with a solid body and an impressively strong loin. So that's a lamb that went for $300K. How about a cow that cost over $1 million? Number 8. Miss Missy Holstein Cow. Miss Missy, the Holstein cow, takes the luxury pet game to a whole new level with her staggering price of $1.2 million. But don't roll your eyes just yet. Miss Missy isn't your average grass muncher. She's basically the Beyoncé of the bovine world. So why is she worth more than a mansion? First off, Miss Missy isn't just a milk producer, she's a milk machine. She cranks out up to 50% more milk than your average Holstein cow. That's like running the dairy equivalent of an Olympic sprint every day, and winning. On top of that, she's got superstar genes. Farmers pay big bucks for cows like Miss Missy because her babies inherit her milk-making magic, meaning her genetic line can turn an ordinary dairy farm into a cash cow operation, literally. But hold on, it's not just the milk. Miss Missy's trophy shelf is stacked. She's racked up championship titles at all the major dairy shows, making her a bona fide cattle celebrity. And with all that fame comes some seriously five-star treatment. Forget hay in a dusty barn, Miss Missy enjoys top-shelf feed, spa-like grooming sessions, and a cushy lifestyle that would make a racehorse jealous. Now, let's talk about an animal that could easily have Miss Missy for lunch: a Bengal tiger. Number 7. Bengal tiger. Mike Tyson wasn't just a boxing legend who knocked people out cold in the ring, but also the guy who had a thing for owning exotic animals. Back in the day, Tyson was the king of the heavyweight division, known for his insane power and unmatched ferocity. But while his punches made headlines, so did his love for some seriously dangerous pets, like Bengal tigers. Yep, tigers. So how did he get these tigers? Well, he got obsessed with Bengal tigers while he was locked up in prison before his release in 1995. We don't know why, but it might have something to do with the power they represent or their untamed beauty. But once he was out, he didn't just dream about owning one. He went all in. Tyson spent about $71,000 each on 3 Bengal tigers, $271,000 in total. Now, owning tigers sounds cool in theory, but in practice, not so much. One day, things went sideways when Tyson's neighbor jumped over his fence to play with one of the tigers. And well, let's just say the tiger wasn't feeling friendly. It attacked her and ended up ripping her hand apart. Tyson, to his credit, felt horrible about it and paid her a whopping $250,000 as compensation. Reflecting on the incident, Tyson admitted he had no clue how dangerous these animals could be. He even said, "They kill you by accident. They're too strong, especially when you're playing rough with them." But the tiger drama didn't stop there. One day, Tyson was out walking one of his tigers when the tiger spotted a dog. And guess what? The tiger scaled a wall and went straight after it. Tyson managed to get it under control, but not before giving his neighbor the scare of their life. Word got out, and the ASPCA stepped in. Without the proper permits to keep such animals, Tyson had no choice but to surrender his tigers. And that was the end of Mike Tyson's tiger adventure. Alright, let's talk about another animal that's not just a pet, but a full-blown celebrity in the animal world. Number 6. Tibetan Mastiff. The red purebred Tibetan Mastiff. On average, these majestic beasts go for a jaw-dropping $582,000, with one even selling for an unbelievable $1.5 million back in 2011. The Tibetan Mastiff has a lion-like mane, towering size, and a build so powerful it could make even the bravest intruders think twice. Originally bred to guard livestock in the rugged mountains of Tibet, these dogs are hardwired with protective instincts. Now, why are they so pricey? First off, these dogs are super rare. Finding a purebred Tibetan Mastiff is like stumbling across a diamond in the wild. Breeding them isn't easy either. It takes a ton of expertise, patience, and care. Plus, they're not exactly apartment-friendly. These giants need lots of space to roam and a diet that can match their size. Think of them as living, breathing luxury items. A dog costing that much isn't too ridiculous. But let's be real. If someone told you a pigeon could fetch millions of dollars, you'd probably laugh it off. But it's true. Number 5. New Kim. When we talk about high-flying investments, New Kim, a 2-year-old racing pigeon, takes the cake, or rather, the sky. Raised in Antwerp, Belgium, by the renowned Flemish trainer Gaston van der Wouwer, this bird was auctioned for a mind-boggling $1.8 million. What's wild is that this price shattered the previous record held by another racing pigeon, Armando, who sold for $1.48 million back in 2019. That's right, New Kim officially dethroned Armando as the most expensive pigeon ever sold. The bidding started modestly on November 2nd, with an initial price just over $200. Things heated up fast when a bidder named Hitman swooped in, holding the lead until the final day of the auction. But it was a last-minute showdown with another bidder, Super Duper, that skyrocketed the price to its jaw-dropping final number. While New Kim ruled the skies, another pet made waves in the water. The koi fish, specifically a red and white beauty named S Legend, which sold for an equally staggering $1.8 million. Number 4. Koi fish. Koi aren't your average pond fish. In Japanese culture, they symbolize wealth, beauty, and perseverance. Breeding a championship koi like S Legend is nothing short of an art form. It takes decades of experience to perfect traits like flawless patterns, vibrant colors, and symmetrical body shapes. Expert breeders pick out the fish with the smoothest scales, the most dazzling colors, and the sleekest body shape. It's no walk in the park. It's a serious skill that makes these fish worth a fortune. But the cost doesn't end there. To keep these fine jewels happy, you need a palace of a pond. Think huge, crystal-clear water, the perfect temperature, and top-notch food. These guys are super picky about their environment. One wrong move, and their health and beauty can take a nosedive. Speaking of fishes, how much do you think the most expensive fish ever sold for? Is it 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 8 million? If your answer was 3 million, you could have won $100 by simply choosing the right answer while playing Wonder Trivia. It's free to play and available on the iOS and Google Play Store. Number 3. Viatina 19, Fave Mara Moveas. Brazil is home to countless cows, hundreds of millions in fact, but there's one that stands out from the herd in a big, almost mythical way. Viatina 19, FIV Mara Moveas. This cow isn't just living the high life, she is the high life, guarded by security cameras and even an armed guard. Yep, she's that special. This snow-white beauty holds the Guinness World Record for the most expensive cow ever sold at auction, worth a jaw-dropping $4 million. That's 3 times more than the previous record holder, and at over 2,400 pounds, she's twice as hefty as the average cow of her breed. Viatina 19 is so famous that her owners put up 2 massive billboards along a highway in Brazil's heartland. The billboards don't just brag about her, they invite people to come and witness the wonder that is this super cow. Now, while climate scientists are urging people to cut back on beef to tackle greenhouse gas emissions and slow down Amazon deforestation, Brazil's cattle industry is booming. Beef is big business here, and as the world's top beef exporter, Brazil wants everyone, everywhere to savor its steaks. Viatina 19 is the perfect mascot for this ambition. She's the product of years of careful breeding to create the ultimate meaty masterpiece. Here's how it works. Prize-winning cows like Viatina 19 are sold at auctions so high stakes that wealthy ranchers often team up to buy them. Once they own a champion, they collect eggs and semen, create embryos, and implant them into surrogate cows, hoping to raise the next superstar. It's like a high-tech matchmaking service for cattle. Viatina 19's jaw-dropping price comes down to her superpowers. She packs on muscle at lightning speed, has excellent fertility, and, most importantly, she passes these traits on to her offspring. This, of course, means her offspring would be better than most cows and have a higher quality meat. Now, anyone that wants to buy her eggs for breeding will have to pay around $250,000. Number 2. The Green Monkey Thoroughbred Racehorse. The Green Monkey is a thoroughbred that broke the bank with an eye-popping price tag of $16 million. This jaw-dropping price made him one of the most expensive horses ever sold, all thanks to his lightning speed, elite bloodline, and rare genetics. The Green Monkey didn't just come out of nowhere. He had racing royalty in his DNA. His father, Forestry, was a legendary champion, and that stellar pedigree made the Green Monkey a hot ticket in the horse racing world. But what really sealed the deal? During a training run, he ran a furlong, about 1/8 of a mile, in just under 9.8 seconds. That kind of speed was the equestrian equivalent of a mic drop, leaving buyers scrambling to own the next big thing in racing. Now, while the Green Monkey had the hype and the price tag, his career on the track didn't exactly take off. But this next horse had a stellar career. Finally, at number 1, we have Fusaichi Pegasus. Fusaichi Pegasus set the bar sky high as the most expensive animal with a jaw-dropping price of $70 million. This horse isn't just pricey because of the money. It's his amazing racing skills and royal bloodline that make him a true legend. Back in 2000, Fusaichi Pegasus made everyone take notice by winning the Kentucky Derby, one of the most prestigious horse races in the world. This victory didn't just earn him trophies, it solidified his status as a genuine champion. But there's more to his story. What really boosted his value was his incredible breeding potential. Coming from a line of top-notch racehorses, Fusaichi Pegasus was like a goldmine for producing future champions. Owners and breeders saw a golden opportunity to make millions from his offspring, which is a huge part of why he fetched that whopping $70 million. What do you think about these animals? Let us know in the comments section. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more.